What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical average American here today to react and learn about how to spot a Brit in the wild. What are the telltale signs of a British person when you're just looking at a gaggle of people, a group? Is there really a way to identify who's British? It's kind of like a game in a way. I don't know, but this discussion on Reddit seems to think so, that there might be some behaviors or characteristics that kind of point you out that maybe, just maybe, you might be British. I've heard this exact scenario with Americans. Apparently, Americans are very, very, very easy to spot, especially in foreign countries when we're kind of out and about and lost overseas on vacation. We make it very known that we are present. So I've heard it's quite easy to spot the American, but can you spot a Brit? So on Reddit here, there's a discussion where someone was asking, "Dear Brits, if you're in a foreign country, what is something another person does that immediately makes you realize they are also a fellow Brit?" So this is a bunch of Brits pointing out funny, interesting, maybe truthful or accurate ways that you might not have ever thought about to determine, are you British? And speaking English doesn't count, right? Obviously, if they were to speak and the accent, that would be how an American would ever have even a chance of identifying a Brit. But the first comment is we often play Spot the Brits while on holiday, and two massive clues, both related to what they wear on the top half of their body, are always dead giveaways. Okay, interesting. No shirt in scorching sun, resulting in them turning bright red. Blatantly a Brit. Oh man, I must be part British because I have the same exact problem. No, so Brits can't handle the sunlight? Turns you bright red. Sounds quite unpleasant, honestly. That means you're quite sunburnt, huh? And living 24/7 in a football shirt, blatantly a Brit. Living in your football shirt. That's a very vivid description. Living in it. Might start to smell after a while. A football shirt, not American football. Soccer shirt, excuse me. Football shirt, not a soccer shirt, but that's the only way I can comprehend it. The old boiled lobster. Look. The old boiled lobster. If you see someone looking like a boiled lobster, they might be British. You heard it here first. It's me, Zoidberg. It's pretty good. Cheering when a waiter drops a plate or glass? Is this like pub behavior? Or this is not something that occurs in America. Cheering when the waiter drops a plate or glass. If you did that in America, you'd honestly come off as like you're making fun of them. Yeah, it'd be like you're making fun of them because this is just not something that happens in America. In Britain, is this like part of the culture? It feels like something that would happen in a pub, honestly. Could it happen in a restaurant? Cheering, is that to like make light of the situation, make it like kind of funny and fun, like it's not a big deal, or I don't really know what the context is of this. It seems like kind of in good fun. But if now I know, if someone were cheering when a waiter dropped a glass and broke it, I would have thought like, oh, that's kind of rude. They're like making fun of them. But instead it's like some kind of funny British thing? Interesting. I jokingly did this yesterday at a restaurant with my Dutch in-laws, and they thought I was integrating with their culture very well. Apparently it's their thing too. Man, does the rest of the world just do this? Are Americans the weird ones? Do we need to be cheering more when people drop stuff? Okay. Interesting. Did this in a pub a few weeks ago when the barmaid dropped a couple glasses. Complete silence and dead-eyed by staff and customers. Sat there thinking, this is not the establishment for me. Finished my pint, sharpish, and bounced. That's the most British phrase I've ever heard. Finished my pint, sharpish, and bounced. So that Brit did it and ended up like being embarrassed or uncomfortable because no one was no one was really acknowledging the hooting and hollering when dropping a glass. That's how I think it'd go in America, too. Interesting. As someone who spent a good part of his childhood living in Spain, I have lots of memories of Brits abroad. Wearing all white clothing when going out for dinner. Is that a thing? Is that the style? I have actually never heard of this. Brits going to dinner in all white? Honestly, you'd think that'd be something I would have noticed at this point. Is that like the British version of being dressed up for formal dress? It has to be white? Or bonus points if it's a family? White trainers. White trainers. What are trainers? Shoes. Shoes. Trainers are shoes. Don't mind me. Just figuring this out as I go. White trousers or pants. So white shoes, white pants, white denims? White denims. Oh, it's like denim pants. That's white. I didn't even... Man, I'm learning about fashion today. Excuse me. White denim for the ladies? White t-shirts, white shirts, white shorts, white socks. If that's not cringe-inducing enough, bit of a shots fired. This person is calling the all-white clothing cringe-inducing. I don't know. I just wonder how popular this is for Brits, honestly. Couple this with the boiled lobster complexions. And voila! British family out for a pella al moon. Another one, you could always spot the Brit on the beach because they were luminously white. And by the end of the day, they were equally luminously red. That's the second time we've heard this. Brits, I guess Brits don't get a lot of sunlight. Is that the joke here? Or maybe not even a joke because of the weather and just where, Britain is located. So you finally go on vacation to some European country, you go to the beach, and you boil like a lobster. And that's just the way it is. It's kind of the British experience, basically. Complaining about either lack of bacon or standard of bacon at buffet breakfast. Sounds like an American thing, honestly. Complaining about the lack of bacon. That's an American thing, too. I didn't know Brits cared about bacon so much. Americans love it. Or the standard of bacon. This is the first I'm hearing about the love of bacon. What else do we have here? I'll go a bit further. I can immediately tell when someone is from Stoke-on-Trent. Stoke-on-Trent. No idea what that means. It's a city. It's a city in England. Stoke-on-Trent. Excuse me. I've never seen a city with so many hyphens. When in restaurants abroad, they'll lift up the crockery to check the maker's mark. Oh my goodness. This is like translating another language. Crockery. What is that? Crockery is plates, dishes, cups. Okay. So, if I understand, when someone's from the city of Stoke-on-Trent, they will lift up the cups and plates to check the maker's mark. The satisfied look on their faces if it's made by a company based in the Potteries. What's the Potteries? It just keeps going. It's Stoke-on... Okay, that's another... That has to do with Stoke-on-Trent. Okay, got it. Man, that was very, very specific. Yes, now I know. If people are inspecting their, crockery, they might be from Stoke-on-Trent. Got it. This is so wonderfully, specifically British. Thank you for just unlocked a memory. Yeah, that is very specific. Good to know, though. Good to know. My mum does this. Okay. Yep, come from near Stoke, and it's a habit from my mum that's hard to break. Wow, apparently this is, true. That's funny. Very accurate, apparently. The innate instinct possessed by Stokies to check maker's mark on crockery has resulted in mass starvation due to them inadvertently tipping their food on the floor every time. You hate to hear it. Oh my gosh. Sounds like most of the Brits here actually understand the reference, so sounds accurate. Like very specific. You can tell, you can just tell, as odd as it seems, how they dress, the haircut. So there's just a British way of dressing and a haircut. I think that's accurate for Americans as well. Like there's just a style, like an American style, American haircut. Like it's kind of like if you grow up there, you kind of know, even though it's not too specific. I think I know what they mean when they're like, "Oh, you can just tell if you grew up like in Britain." Then it's just like, "Oh, how they dress, how, the haircut." It's just like what you've grown up with. Yep, British, Irish, and Scandinavians, in my experience, dress very similar. You can spot an Italian man miles off. Okay. Because they're well dressed in a shiny puffer jacket. What else do we have? Recently went abroad. First night we booked to go on a boat trip. You could tell who the Brits were as they formed a queue. I have heard about the queuing. Very British, the queuing. Very polite. Very organized. To get onto the gangplank. The gangplank. What's a gangplank? What on earth is the gangplank? Well, apparently it's a League of Legends character, for one. Gangplank British? British? Slang? What does it mean? It means opening in the bulwark or rail of a ship to give entrance. Oh my gosh. Maybe that's just a term. Maybe that's not even a British thing. I just didn't know, like, my nautical shipping terminology. You could tell who the Brits were because they formed a queue or formed a line, as we call it in America. Formed a line to get onto the boat, basically. Yes, I have heard Brits are very good about the queuing. And Americans are pretty bad. That's all that makes me think of. How bad Americans are. Almost seems intentional sometimes. Like they're trying to make the line as sloppy as possible to try to weasel their way to the front or something. No. Can't let that happen. But that is one of the things I randomly really appreciate about Brits, is the queuing, honestly. Lived in America for 3 years. Went to the cinema for the first time with my partner. Safe to say, I never went to an American cinema again. You can't even watch or listen to the film because they're just noisy and annoying. I mean, for the most part, most Americans abide by keeping quiet during a public movie in a cinema. If you go to like a midnight premiere of a Marvel movie, like with all the fans, like a Star Wars premiere or something, then it's almost like expected that it's going to be the hardcore fans yelling and cheering the whole time. I've definitely heard of that, but just at an average American movie, cinema experience, I would be shocked if everyone was yelling and hooting and hollering the whole time. Sounds like this was just a bad experience. That would be annoying. I agree. There was a joke in the film, and they all got up and started clapping. That's over the top, even in my experience, honestly. Queuing for the bar at 9:59 a.m. Is that when it opens? Is that like the minute before it opens? All right, forming a line. That's how you spot the Brits. They're forming the queue at the bar the minute it opens. Apologizing when someone bumps into them. Yeah, very polite. Yeah, okay. This is kind of a positive thing. Definitely apologizing when someone bumps into them specifically. So they're not even bumping into you. You better apologize then. Even an American will apologize. Like even they'll have a little humility if they bash into you. Sorry, and then keep going. That's the American way. But if you bump into them, that's uniquely British. Also kind of Canadian too. Just very polite people. Could be Canadian. There you go. Shouting and talking really slowly, but still in English when trying to ask a question. Okay, so this is when you're abroad, when you're traveling in a different country that speaks a different language. Americans do this too. I thought this was an American thing. Apparently, this is a British thing as well, where Americans will not bother to try to speak the local language and also keep speaking English. And even if no one can understand them, we'll just talk slower like this helps at all. Even though if they can't speak English, they're not going to understand. Slower English might even be annoying and worse. Yep. Assuming everyone speaks English and gets offended when they don't. Yeah, that's honestly, Americans do that too. I guess Brits do that too a bit, huh? Arguing with airport staff about being turned away from the EU passport line. That's awful specific. Arguing with the airport staff being turned away from the EU passport line. That's almost too specific for me to even... Okay, like, I guess I'll keep my eye out for the EU passport line for someone arguing. Oh, Brit. I'll point at them, be like, Brit, it's a British person. They're arguing with the passport line, like the comment I read on the internet. And the people around will just kind of stare, kind of look over and be like, ignore them. That's the American. Just ignore them, and continue on with their argument. Okay, hypothetical situations aside, what else do we have? On my honeymoon in Mauritius, during an absolute banger of a rainstorm, all the Brits were still outside reveling in the warm rain and using it as a chance to bag a lounger? Bag a lounger. What is bag a lounger? It's a beanbag? It's a beanbag. What? I am so confused. So, on the honeymoon, the Brits were outside in the rainstorm, using it as a chance to bag a lounger. What does that mean? Bag a lounger? Is that a slang I can look up? Lounger is an article of clothing. I don't think I'm going to be able to figure this one out. I have no idea what's being said here, but it's very British. Oh my god, this is the most British thing on this thread. You win. Dang it, I wish I understood. Dang it. The internet's kind of not helping me here. I'm not getting the definitions I need. What else do we have here? If in Spain, hearing someone say, gracias, mate, to the waiter? Okay, very British. Gracias, mate. Is that like a good thing, or is that a bad thing? Is that a dish, or I don't know. Very British. Hiking through the snow in shorts and a t-shirt, according to somebody I met in the Alps who identified me as English. Hiking through the snow in shorts and a t-shirt. Dang, really? Are Brits just that battle-hardened to the cold? England is humid and windy. When winter hits, we get freezing sub-zero temperatures where we don't get snow, but we get a deep penetrating chill in our bones. And somehow we get used to it within a week or so of moaning. So this is just an ability Brits have, apparently. Just all Brits have the ability to acclimate to the cold, so you might find them stomping around in the mountains in a short and t-shirts. Wow, respect. Falling off balconies? But you might only realize that it happens to Brits more than anyone if you're not British yourself. Why are Brits falling off balconies? What? Yeah, falling off balconies is definitely a Brit abroad thing? What? People are agreeing with this? Last time I was on holiday in Greece, my mate, also British, got stupidly drunk and fell off the balcony of our room. That sounds dangerous. Luckily, it was only on the first floor, so he ended up with a bruised arse and a more bruised ego. That is not what I expected in this list of ways to spot a Brit. Just the person falling off the balcony. High likelihood it could be a Brit. Who knew? Who knew? Loud and drunk. Very similar to an American, though. For some of these, you might wonder, is it a Brit or an American? I do my best to avoid destinations and time of year where they might be. Oh man, Rager Rambo is trying to avoid the Brits and the Americans. Oh man. Middle-class British family on a European city break. Dead giveaways. Never looking fully relaxed. Fussing over maps and sunscreen. Cues, plans. Intergenerational and parental squabbling. Oh my gosh. This is specifically Brits on vacation right there. That sounds... It's funny. The way they dress, the way they act, the fact that they are sunburnt. The sunburnt. The boiled lobster look. Tomato ketchup with every meal. And always at least one plate of chips in the food order. There you go. There's a good one. Tomato ketchup with every meal. I didn't know about that. And always one plate of chips with the food order. Cool, cool. Brand new looking clothes and white trainers that they bought for the holiday. There's the white trainers again, the white shoes. I didn't know anything about the white clothing. That's brand new to me. It's kind of, I mean, that's the second time I'm hearing it as well. It's hard to get a single thing, but a lot about how they dress that screams Brit. If you write it down, it does not sound unique, but somehow how they wear the clothing, it makes them look British. Shorts and t-shirt in the sun or a formal suit, it always says Brit. And of course the famous burnt white skin. Slightly less reliable as Irish, Dutch, Belgians, and Russians all sport that too. Wow. The table that shouts garlic bread is always British. Garlic bread. Really? Really? See, that's what I like about a lot of these comments here, is there's a lot of like normal things, kinda, that are, and then you'll just get the, oh, how do you spot a British person? It's the person yelling garlic bread. Apparently, the person yelling garlic bread. But that's, you gotta come to the Reddit threads for the obscure how to spot a Brit isms like that. Anyway, I think that's pretty good. I didn't know there were gonna be so many obscure, and I think that is the best way to put it. Obscure, kind of strange, and oddly accurate ways to spot Brits in the wild and on vacation. Some of this, like how you can spot an American on vacation, they might have like a Hawaiian shirt on and a fanny pack and have their map pulled out and probably be loud and not aware that they're making a scene. There is kind of some telltale signs of how to spot the Brit on vacation as well. So I really enjoyed this, honestly. Some of these were funny. Actually kind of funny and helpful. Maybe I'll stand a chance at spotting a Brit in public. Who knows? Now that I've learned all these useful telltale signs. But anyway, I enjoyed it. If you enjoyed this as well, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to British culture and stuff in Britain that I've just never seen or learned about, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.